Okay. First solo stream. That'll crash on OBS, but I think we're good. Okay. So, where we left off last time was with Shadowcaster. And let's see, I had both cams on the screen to see my show. So that's where we're at. And tonight we're just going to add a little bit more to it. I'm probably not going to finish it tonight, but we're going to do a little more detail and see how far we get. So, I've been playing with OBS today. I'm going to try a few things out, see how it sounds. But first, we're going to start with some detail. I'm going to pull the pictures up so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. Kind of weird doing stream by myself, I'll admit. But my brethren, Patrick, is in chat. 12 viewers. Hello, everybody. Wow. Okay, so what we're actually going to do is on the design, on this part right here, there's kind of these white wispy parts that are going to come out, and we're going to try that. So we fixed the purple at the end of the last stream. I don't think it's quite perfect yet, but I think it's good enough to at least start filling in a little more this way. Now, I'm going to see here whereabouts it's going to go. It's going to roughly kind of come down. Something like that. My paint is actually a little too watered down. I quickly added some paint in here before we started. Finishing up the Elimination Chamber tonight. Watching Bray Wyatt win the championship against all odds. It's pretty fun. So this is actually going to come down. So that's really quick. But you can see kind of those wisps are going to be there. So our purple isn't right at the moment. We got to fix the purple a bit. But that's okay. I think right now this part is a little big. So we're gonna have to play with the purple. I think what I'm gonna do is actually let me add more purple all in here, and then try and fix it afterwards, because I think when we mapped out the white originally, it just wasn't quite where we want it to be. So let's mix up a bit of purple quick. I have this right here. I'm going to grab some purple. So for those who have not joined into the stream before, our stream is it's not that old. We've been streaming for about 2.5, 3 weeks now. And we primarily stream the X-Wing miniatures game, which is where this ship comes from. Tabletop game, spaceships flying, going pew pew. And normally we're streaming Wednesdays and Thursdays, and we're streaming matches. But part of that fun is also painting these ships. And we're going to mix it up a little bit sometimes with some paint strips. Just going to add a bit of black here just to darken this purple up a bit. Okay, let's de-white some of this stuff. So normally there's also PTC in chat is usually here streaming with me. He's the other half of the color commentary. And normally fills in the blanks that are on stream. He's the better commentator, more experienced streamer, you would say. But I have a spring kit coming up at the weekend. And so I want this ship looking good for the spring kit because I'm finally going to win one. I'm calling it right now. I'm going to win that spring kit. It's going to happen. Gotta believe it's going to happen. So this purple here looks like it's going to swing out a bit like this. I think that's where our white is just a little off. And then it's going to come down like that. Now I'm keeping the paint pretty light at this point so that I can kind of just map it in. But you can see the difference on the two sides, kind of. It's a little yellow. Maybe I come up here. Oh, yeah, it's any better. No, not any better. You can kind of see I'm going to kind of bring that wing out just a bit more, though. Now, the fun part of this is that I'm trying to keep it as symmetrical as I possibly can, which has proven to be difficult. But I think it's going okay so far. Again, I'm doing this all freehand. I'm not a professional painter or anything. Just like throwing paint on ships. That's what we're going to do here. And keep it nice and light, and that way you can always paint it over. Patrick in chat playing with Nightbot here. Nightbot's new to me, so whatever he's doing sounds great. Looks like we're going to have some little wings that come off the purple as we come down here as well. And I think it's going to kind of follow the groove of the ship here. Roughly like that. Let's show it up there. You can just see, oh, right, directions, other way, that way, there you go. So it's going to kind of spike down there. Picture in picture, let's see here, is covering the ship. Okay, let's move the picture in picture. Let's put it right there. Normally we're switching between the two cameras. Actually, now I can actually see the camera as well. I have the camera in front of me. Not an experience here tonight. An experience for the last couple of weeks, actually. We're always trying to make the stream a bit better. And we're learning. So yeah, just going to find a... I think there's going to be a little point here. It's going to kind of be separated a bit. It's going to kind of come down, kind of like that. Okay, let's film this purple a bit more here. Give us a nice blank slate for the white. Damn it, Mike, switch the small pic on the camera, on the table. I want to see details. Okay, let's switch cameras around. I have Patrick giving me some details. Can I dress up like Bob Ross, please? If we find a wig, I will dress up like Bob Ross. What we could actually do is, that way. Zoom this in a bit as well. Give that a shot. I just stay in frame. Maybe we'll try that for a bit. Patrick, you can tell me how that looks. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna add a little spike here. I'm gonna play with the camera a bit with it. I'm gonna switch cameras. So this one. Let's see how that looks. The delay is ruining Patrick. We're just gonna keep going for now. Keep playing with cameras as we go. Patrick's really feeling the effects of not coming to hang out tonight. And he deserves every part of it as well. Okay. So. I'm trying to keep it like that. It's actually really hard to paint while keeping the camera in mind, I've found. Alright, so we're going to do the same on this side, where this is going to kind of arch down. And then these spikes here actually kind of have more of like a flat edge to them. And again, then we're going to do our little fang right here. Just like that. And the spike here is going to kind of be like that. I think we're going to add more white here to bring these spikes out. They're going to be roughly something there. I think some of this here is going to fill in with white. We are actually going to add some black detail on this as well. I didn't notice that when I first looked at this picture. There's going to be kind of these black accents all over the place, which are going to look pretty cool, I think. I'm just seeing what else is kind of purple while I've got purple on my brush. Actually, all this here is going to be purple. Same on this side. So yeah, like I said, we normally stream Wednesdays and Thursdays, and they're usually games that we're streaming. Wednesdays are actually here, and usually a little more casual, a little more fun for our X-Wing Wednesday. And then Thursdays, we are live from a local gaming store here in Winnipeg called Amusing Games. And sometimes a little more competitive. We depends. We had a grid match this past Thursday on stream between myself flying Paratoni, which is what this ship is a part of, And Mark flying his custom list called the Friend Maker. A pretty nasty build, actually, that relied on a Decimator flying Kylo Ren, with a Colzit, as well as a Duchess. Basically, the idea was that he could slap a blind pilot on you and then push crits through so that you're continuously blinded. And a bit of a pain in the butt to fight. It's definitely a challenge, and we do have that in the archives for anyone that wants to check it out. I'm not going to tell you what the results were. You can go find out. It's a shameless plug. Okay, so I think we're kind of roughly even. I'm just going to tilt it for a sec here because I need to see how even we are. Because I think this fang is actually going to be a little lower. Roughly there, and then this part's a little uneven. We're gonna wipe that part out. We're gonna come back to it. So I'm gonna switch over here. This white that I've got. I'm just gonna. I want to redo this section. I'm not crazy about it right now. And the part I'm trying to figure out is what is purple and what is white. I think it's kind of roughly this area here. That's where I need to white out. Again, I'm doing this design off of a picture of what Asajj's custom Shadowcaster looks like. Or a variant of it. She has some ship modifications that aren't on this model. And gonna match kind of what it looks like otherwise. Let's clean up some lines here while we're here. Okay, as that side dries, let's look at what we've got going on over here. That's where I gotta paint a little slower, I think. Burn the footage coming from Def Revered. It's actually great little tip here to go watch back your footage. You might learn a thing or two. Like things about your action economy. Maybe you think you're doing the right actions and there's other actions available. Who knows? Just a thought. So I'm actually just bringing these fangs down a bit. I think I extended just a little too far. It's letting me get a nice point on them as well. Did I say his name wrong? Def Revived, sorry. This is why I can't solo stream. I'm just too undisciplined. Just completely undisciplined. Now I made a fool of myself. Live on the internet. Shame. Absolute shame. I think this is actually going to come up a bit. Maybe a little more angled as it kind of breaks off here. Four losses, guys. It's a shame. The list had some fun. Okay. Let's try and map out what's going to happen with these lines. Kind of come like that. Now, what I'm doing is I'm trying to plan it out. There's a lot of engravings on the ship, and I'm trying to figure out where I am based on those engravings, which is really hard. kind of comes like this. Roughly there. I'm gonna bring this white pretty far down, actually. Looks like at this part here, it's gonna come up just a bit, and that's where we bank into our another one. I like that. I think these are a little thick right now. We might have to go back and shrink them down afterwards. It's kind of like that. Some kind of arches. A little bit that way. Comes back up. And then this is going to kind of do something. I think. That. So on close-up camera, it should go something like that. But we're gonna see. I'm not thrilled with it yet. Maybe we'll modify it just a bit. Just try and darken it in a bit. Still a lot of purple coming through. Something like that. Just adds a little bit to it. Close up camera. Pretty interesting week in a weekend in the World of X-Wing. We saw Karnor and Rack win the Australian regionals. And seems like that list may be getting a bit of traction. Karnor is pretty hard to fly. I don't think it's going to be everyone can pick it up and play it kind of list. But could be something we see more of moving forward. Okay, let's clean up a bit here. Let's try and match it on the other side. And this is going to be the hard part here. So again, I'm going to kind of pick and choose my spots. Although I don't think it's perfectly symmetrical. They do look a little different. It's kind of the same concept, but the two sides look like the fangs come out slightly differently. Kind of like that, and then the third one. We'll go a little like that. It's going to be kind of a mapping right there. Come on. There you go. You can kind of see the whole ship. Okay, let's fill her in. Now, I am seeing that we did come a little low here, but we'll fill that purple in afterwards. This is one thing I'm probably going to end up being too much of a perfectionist about. I don't think I'm going to get it perfectly symmetrical here. But I want it to be. Make these a little thicker. Okay, let's go with that for now. Yeah, not feeling. I think it's this top section here, because it comes down and then down, and it kind of arches this way, and then like that. I think that's going to help. We do something like that. Almost symmetrical. Okay. Again, let's clean up this side. And then we did the purple. Something like that. Okay. So that's where we're at right now. I think it's close. Let's switch back to some purple here. And we can fill in a bit of this. Looks like this is... Maybe we're a little high on the purple. Maybe that's the issue. Now that I'm seeing the markings here, it looks like we're good as we come in this way. But I think in here, we're meant to have a little more white. And at some point, I think we're just going to kind of do our own thing. But just to get the initial layout down, I'm going to try and do it as close as we can to the original design, which seems to come down like that. And then this is going to be our space. And then this area is actually a little different than what I've got here. It's going to kind of go more like that, because then we should have kind of a roughly a straight line from the point over to this section right here. So yeah, I think we came in a little high. Fill that in a bit. Sound look a little more angular now. So yeah, like I said, we do have a spring kit coming up this weekend. We may actually be setting up a streamer. Undecided yet. But I'm going to be competing. I will be playing Paratani. Seems to be a hot list right now. Unfortunately, I'm not. I like to play lists that, like, you know, they're good, but not everyone's playing. Dangaroo never caught on here. Never. Not a single person was playing it. So, tried out some Dangaroo for a bit. Did well, but, you know, it's okay. I think it's had its day. I think people have figured it out now. And it's not as scary anymore. It's really, it's kind of fun to fly. But, no, it's more fun when someone's pressuring you. If you can just have the run of the board and you're in complete control all game, it's not as fun anymore. So that was the end of that. Getting confirmation that we will be streaming this spring kit that we're at. It is going to be this Sunday. So this Sunday we will be streaming. It goes approximately from 1 until 6 Central Standard Time. But I'm sure we'll release more details closer to the date. You know, so tune in on Wednesday and Thursday this week to get some details live and ask us questions about it. Okay. I think this is starting to look a little better now. Starting at the points looking nice and sharp. Kind of messed that up a bit, but we can fix it. Maybe we'll just. Looks like it's low on the design, but I'm happy with that. We're going to keep it there. So we can see the difference in the two sides. Wait, no, wait. Two sides now. This side. You know what? We got to make this side look like. And I think we're going to make these white parts a little thinner. They're a little thick right now. Look a little weird. To do that, I'm actually going to use the purple. I think I'm going to make them more pointy. Just a little thick on the ends. What am I going to fly on Wednesday? How does it work? Why is it good? At least Kylo or Ren. What am I going to fly on Wednesday? That is a great question. I have to remember what I'm going to fly on Wednesday. If it's the one that I'm thinking of... Oh, the Chewbacca one. Oh, yeah. So, this one actually came from the Slack channel. If you are not part of the Slack channel, highly recommend you join. Absolutely fantastic discussions in there. I think at this point they're hundreds of members strong from all over the globe. And just a great bunch of guys and girls in there that are fun to chat with. Will help you with the list building. If you're struggling with a list or you can't figure out what upgrades should go, always willing to give input. But anyways, they've come up with a list. Put up behind me. So, the first part of it, 300 plus people in the Slack channel, fantastic, is the old school Chewbacca, like the original Chewbacca. And his ability states that when he's dealt a crit, he should immediately flip it face down. Great ability. Actually, we played around with the new Chewie, which I want to explore more. His ability is kind of a return fire when a friendly ship is destroyed. I really like the idea of that. I think it's fun. Anyway, so it's original Chewie. That Chewie has Swarm Leader, 3PO, Rey, the original title, Smuggling Department, Glitterstim, and Countermeasures. And it's flying alongside 2 Green Squadron A-Wings with VI. So everyone's PS5. And those A-Wings are pretty typical loadout. They've got auto thrusters and juke, along with the title and the refit. So from what I've heard, the idea is that you can fire with the A-Wings, do the whole juking thing to hopefully make them spend their focuses, which then opens up Chewie, who's carrying Swarm Leader, to take the evade tokens from the A-Wings and launch a potential 6-die attack. Now, we'll see if I'm getting that right once Pat hears this. But I think that's the main idea of it. And I'm assuming you saying great against Kylo Ren, Chewie's ability must counteract it. Am I right in thinking that? And it's kind of interesting because I do think Kylo is going to be a bit of a force moving forward. We are seeing him. The one that this Decimator that's won the Australian regionals was flying Kylo Ren as crew. It's one of his crew. And so I do think that Kylo is going to be the real deal. It's gonna do work. Great Bob Ross emoticon. Really appreciating it. Do need to get a Bob Ross gig, I believe. And then we can do some Bob Ross painting on X-Wing ships. Yet the Howards have been seen flying a Rack Carnor Jax. So that's how you know a build is legitimate. Like, yeah, it's gonna win the Australian regionals. Let's be honest, the Howards are flying it. Now it's the real deal. Howards flying a build is never a good thing. Because they're dangerous to begin with. They're consistent finishes at the highest level of this game. So, yeah. It's scary that they're jumping on board with this as well. Okay, so as we were talking there, I was kind of touching up that one side, making sure that all the points look good, thinned out the white a little bit. So now the challenge is going to be that we have to match the other side. We're going to see how well this goes. Okay. Where shall we start? I think we'll start by trying to map in some of this purple again. I am starting to run out of purple in my little paint tray here, so we're just gonna make a little ball quickly. So just making some purple here. Not the most exciting part of the paint stream, but we're gonna need some paint to finish this. I'm not a fan of painting my ships. Some of them. Some of them I don't like painting. The Lambda shuttle, I think it's perfect the way it is, and I have refused to paint it because I think it's just stunning and it's beautiful, and that's that. Otherwise, I've been known to paint the majority of my ships. And I was very torn with the Shadowcaster. I did like the Shadowcaster's original paintwork. That was a nice looking model. It looked great. So I was a little hesitant to make the jump on this to start with, but so far I'm happy I did. I think it's starting to really come together. Excited to kind of see a finished product. Alright, now we gotta match. I think this is going to be an important one that we match here. And the markings are a little different on this side of the ship. They look a little different. Okay, I'm just kind of filling in a little more purple, and then we'll use the white to kind of dial it back a little bit. I found that that was a little easier on the other side. Let's try and slim this down again as well. Just like that. Okay, this is where I'm a little different now. I need to come in there. Oh, we're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with it. Otherwise this weekend, had the joy, the privilege, the honor, you may say, of checking out For Honor. Not the biggest gamer anymore. Life gets in the way. But man, that game was fun. Holy cow, that game was fun. It's maybe one I need to get on board with. Having trouble on this side figuring out how to make it match because it's a little different. So again, I think I'm going to go a little more purple, and then we can figure out the white. I think it's going to be easier here. Something like that for now. Just going to switch back over to the white. Dial this back a little bit. Like so. And then this is gonna something like that. feel like we're a lot wider on the other side, actually. Maybe that. Looks a little closer. And then here, bring it in. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Still a little work to do on the white things here. But I think that purple is pretty close. It's pretty close. Let's try and build this part out a little bit. So it kind of fangs out. And then I came back in. And then it arched like that. It doesn't look the same. Kind of a little lower here, maybe? I don't know why I'm having such trouble with this part. I don't think this part should be this hard. The one thing that could be here is that, well, I think it's pretty symmetrical, the ship here. So maybe there's a difference in size, but I think it's pretty close. Actually, bringing it out like that kind of helped a bit. Let's clean up in here a little bit more. Okay. Now I think we're going to need to bring the white in just a little different here. And then this is going to arch right there. Just a little bit like that. Alright. Jump back to the purple. Where I think we're going to fill in a bit like that. And then we're going to get our arch. Something like this. Just a little like that, and I think we're in the ballpark. We're pretty freaking close. It's not far off. I think I'm going to leave it close to that for the night. And then we can look at it again with fresh eyes. Sometimes that's going to help a little bit. And otherwise, I'm just going to pick at this too much, I think. But that's not bad. I'm digging it. Okay. While I've got purple on my brush, I'm just going to touch up a couple other spots. just really kind of filled in lightly on the last one. We kind of, last stream, which was last Sunday, I think, we kind of mapped everything out. Give me a sense of kind of what it's going to look like. Okay, yeah, I think we're looking pretty good. Okay. Let's just put another coat down here. Just so I can use up the purple that I have in my tray. And then I think we're going to add our little white squares back on the bottom. So I'm just going to fill in this area here. I think they were too big last time. Okay. We'll let that dry for a second here. Stretch the legs a little bit. Okay. I think we're pretty dry there. Let's add a little white detail to put back. Now it's going to roughly go, start there, but I think it's, like we had it come way further out last time, I think it's just going to come to about there. Even that might be bigger than I was thinking it should be. That's not bad. It's kind of central. We'll do the other side here as well. Now we're going to go out like that. I think it's going to be small. I think it's going to be like this. Like that, maybe. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, that size looks better. It looks more proportioned. Oh, it's not quite dry yet. That's okay. We'll come back. Something like that, I think. Looks pretty good. Yeah, I think that one's going to come to like there. We're going to shave like half a centimeter off here with more purple. Should have kept more purple. And my thing! I'm running out again. Darn it. I'm not going to do much more tonight. Like I said, nice short stream on a Sunday night. Just want to get a little bit more done. As we get closer to the weekend and the spring kit. Gotta look good going into a spring kit. Don't get many big tournaments around here. And, I mean, who goes in with stocked painted ships these days? Gotta stand out a bit. I think I've mixed this purple a little darker. Which is kind of what I was afraid of when I was making my own purple. I wouldn't get the same shade. Maybe it'll dry. Okay. Okay. I think those look a little better now. It's a little smaller. Not as gigantic. I'm actually even going to dial this one in a little bit. I think I did the other side a little smaller, and it looks really good. Just shrink it down just a bit. Okay. Not bad at all. Also a big fan of painting. It's relaxing. And it's a nice way to clear your mind. So if I'm being quiet, I apologize. Because I'm concentrating on this tiny, stupid section that I'm being a perfectionist over and shouldn't be. Okay, I think it's pretty close. I think. Pretty close for freehand. I don't know if we're going to get much closer. If you're interested, I'm using the Citadel paints. I mentioned on the last stream that I actually owned some Citadel from painting some 40K models previously, before I got into X-Wing. So, just carried over. I don't think they're bad paints. They're good price range, I'd say. Just clean up some of this white here. Make it look a little cleaner. We are tempted to put a wash on it when we're all said and done. But I'm a little nervous as to what it's going to do to the white. I don't want it to go gray. But on the flip side, it's going to really fill in all the little detail really nicely. So it may be worth it to do the wash and then repaint some of the white parts again. I don't know. I haven't figured out what the best approach to that is yet. Because Pat painted a ship white the other day and washed it. And we have like a null oil. And that's what we're washing with. You can see it kind of went great. It looked great on this model. But for mine, I want it to look a little cleaner. So, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I need a different wash. Maybe that's the issue. Alright, so the white cleanup. Just making this part a little more angular as well. I found that like her paint job seems to have a lot of sharp angles to it. And with those in, it seems to really start coming together. The model accepts those angles very nicely. Okay. It's not bad. That's not bad at all. It's pretty close. Pretty close. Pretty close. I feel like the two fangs here are a little off. But I'm not going to worry too much about it right now. I'll play with that later. Okay. Let's add a little bit of initial black detail before we call it a night. Because I'm excited to see how that's going to look. Now, I'm not going to use an actual, like, black. Like, kind of this, like, dark gray color. I'd show you my paint palette, but I can see it. So I guess I kind of this dark Really dark gray color. And I think that's going to be a little better. Now, there's a couple spots that it's going to show up in. The first part I want to try is actually back here. It's going to fill in this corner back here. Like painting in the lines. It's going to be such like a specific spot. Trying to get the best light as well. Okay, something like this. I'm going to try to cover all the purple there. I'm going to match it on the other side as well. Probably the most intricate paint job I've tried yet. There's going to be a lot of small details that we haven't even talked about yet. Okay, something like that. It's a little hard to tell the difference, but I do think it's like the perfect color for this. So they're not really meant to stand out that much. They're meant to be pretty subtle, I think. Because at first, I didn't even notice them. Okay, you probably won't even see the difference on camera. I can't tell. But it's in there. Believe it or not, it's in there. And the funny part is that actually there's gonna be some gray where these fangs are as well. Oh gosh. Okay. It's gonna kind of come like that. Just like that, and then this is gonna kind of arch. Something like that. We're gonna go with that. That's pretty freaking close for a first try. I'm taking that. Let's do the other side. You know what? I think it's gonna. Oh no, it's a little thinner there. Maybe I'll like it if it comes down just a bit more, actually. Kind of fills this lower bowl a bit. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, let's do the same on the other side here, and of course, the markings are a little different. So we're going to try and match it the best we can. Something like that. I'm going to get some paint off my brush here because I feel like I got a little much. I actually got to come to the light for a sec, so this isn't going to be the best camera shot. But the colors are so similar that I just need to see it in some bright light. I think I took all the paint off my brush actually, which has not helped. Add a little bit more on, and then just kind of move it around a bit because I was a little heavy. Okay, back in shot. It is really hard to see it on camera, but in person it adds a nice subtle detail there. I like it. And you know what? These are going to be black as well. I think this is going to really look good. I'm going to start to see the ship become a little darker here, which I think probably matches the personality of Sarge just a bit better than the original design. Now, one thing we haven't done yet, and you'll see it as I flip the ship over, is even touch the bottom of the ship. And I'd say the bottom of the ship is probably the most unrewarding part of painting these models, because you're never, unless you pop the ship off for a bump or something, you're going to see the bottom of the ship. So normally what I'll do, probably in this case, what I'm thinking of doing is just painting it dark. Not trying to match the crazy details we're going to do on the top. Just do like black and purple on the bottom. Call it a day. And I think the dark bottom would look pretty good, actually. I did that on a Manaru that I painted. I was pretty happy with it, actually. I think I used this gray. This gray looks pretty good when it's on nice and thick. Alright, let's quickly put a coat on these, just so it darkens them out a little bit. So again, we do stream. We do stream Wednesdays and Thursdays. Wednesdays are our X-Wing Wednesday here in the... I keep changing the name of it. We're going to go with the Scurvy Basement. It's the basement in my house. We do stream here on the table. You probably will see our mat under my painting table at some point here today. And we're going to try and play some funner builds, some stuff that you generally don't see on the table. For example, last week we fielded Chewie, brand new Chewie, the Heroes of the Resistance version, with 3 Zs loaded with missiles. The idea being that when one of them dies, inevitably, Chewie's ability would let him attack again. Get a free shot, hopefully with no tokens. The fun part of that game, the Zs didn't die. Not a single one of them died. Not a single one of them actually lost any shields or anything. So if you want to check that out, it is on our YouTube page. Or you can look in the Twitch archives, but YouTube's probably a little easier. Our YouTube channel is youtube.xwingjunkies.com. But I had fun with it, actually. That was a fun one to fly. I liked it. What else did we try? We also tried getting the tugboat in action. Tugboat is scary. There's an Uncod part build and Putt, whatever his name is. It was, those things could be the real deal. A little easy to kill, I guess. But, I think there's something there. There's potential there. Then on Thursday, we're streaming live from Amuse and Games here in Winnipeg. That is their Thursday night X-Wing night. We are going to be getting a league going there. We are in the final stages of that. Just a couple things holding us up that we're going to be working through. Pretty fun builds go on there too. However, it depends on the time of the season it is. With a spring kit coming up, could see a little more competitive practice. So we saw last week as we had guys going to the Saskatoon regionals that were this weekend. So we got to see some last-minute reps before the guys headed out. Plus, you can also see some random stuff. Guys will be bringing stuff down that they don't normally fly, just for the fun of it. Have a good night out, kind of thing. So, nice mix of stuff. on those nights. And as we mentioned earlier, we do have a spring kit coming up this Sunday again for the Amusement Games, actually. And we will be streaming there in some fashion. May not be commentary the whole time, but there will be video at the very least. I will be entering that, so not sure if Pat is or not. PTC, as you may see. Right, we're not going to do too much detail on these. These are just a little break piece. Don't really show up that well. And we haven't done too much on the engines yet, but okay, let's. I think that's all the black details on this. I'm just gonna cycle. I got some extra pictures here. It's gonna be a little bit on the front. Let's do those little black bars on the front. They're gonna be kind of like caution tape, I think it is. It's like black and yellow. They're gonna be like that eventually. So we're gonna have to. I don't have yellow. I'm gonna have to find yellow. Sometimes if it's a color like that, I mean, I could try and mix it. Or, since it's such a little part, might try a dollar store acrylic. A little hit and miss. But, little details, I don't think it's going to be that bad. Okay, last little bits here before we call it a night. I always like to touch up before calling it a night. That way when I sit down next, it's going to be kind of nice and clean. Get a set of fresh eyes on it. Gonna bring in a little purple here. This purple is a little darker, but it's going on pretty nice, actually. It's giving us another layer. The purple isn't looking so flat. But it's not separating it far enough that it looks completely different. So, I'm digging it. So, Pat's saying something about commentary in chat. I can't make out if it's English or not. The old man eyes are failing me. We are also, check out xwingjunkies.com as well. We are starting to get that site up and running. It's going to basically be a portal to all of the content we are producing. It's also the easiest way for you to get to Mini Ranker. Mini Ranker was a site that was around for a long time. great place to find your next greatest build. We've since brought it under our wing. So head over to xwingjunkies.com. See a big old mini ranker button. And give that a check out. It's going to show you all the results coming in from around the globe. From major events. And a really nice to use interface. Works well on mobile as well. You show up to a kit. You're like, hey, I wonder what I should fly today. Head over to Mini Ranker. Maybe you'll find your championship winning build there. Who knows? Oh yeah, this purple is going a lot darker actually. But it looks pretty good. So I'm going to try and fill in some spots here. And just smooth it out. Just so it doesn't look too splotchy. Nice thing with paints, and actually, what you should be doing, and this is the nice thing about them, layer your paints, because they're going to look so much better. You don't just want to do one coat and have it sit there. It's going to look pretty flat. So layer your paints, and it's going to look better, for sure. I haven't really done too much with the engines yet. I just kind of filled it in so that it doesn't detract from the model. There will be commentary at the spring kit. Okay, so 100% guaranteed that there will be commentary at the spring kit. Could get out of hand, especially if I make it onto stream. I'm sure there'll be some fantastic heckling coming my way. So, I mean, that's, in my opinion, worth tuning into right there. Oh yeah, that really darkened her up a bit. Started to muddy her up a bit as well, make her look a little more grungy. Which I think is going to work well in the end. Alright. There she is. Let's go main cam. We're also going to take... Wait. Sorry. There we go. And I don't know how other people do it. It's hard. I'm going to take a picture and put it on our Instagram. Instagram username is xwingjunkies. What to find us. But again, this has been part 2. We're getting a little closer here. I think it's a step in the right direction. I think we're starting to really come together. And yeah, we'll have to do another one where we finish her up a bit more. Because I think it's really going to come together really nicely. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. Nice short stream this evening.